Hello and welcome to episode number 22 of the Tweedle Eat, Tweedle Run podcast, where Steph and I document our Run Disney adventures at both Disney World and Disneyland parks. I'm Court, and this is Steph.
Hello, and as always, you can reach out to interact with us on Instagram at TweedleEatTweedleRun or email us at tweedleeattweedlerun@gmail.com. And of course, listen to us on Spotify and Amazon Music. And if you'd like to see our bright and shiny faces, you can check us out on YouTube. And if you like what you hear and see, please sprinkle some pixie dust on that like button and like and subscribe. On today's episode, we're continuing on with our fun adventures at the marathon weekend at Disney, which just happened a couple weeks ago now, which is kind of crazy. We are a week away from the Disneyland half, which is weird because it's normally back-to-back weeks and there's weeks in between. But anyways, we're not going to that, so it doesn't matter.
Nope.
But yeah, just something to note. Anyways, on we go. Where we left off, I believe I just finished the 5K.
You had just finished the 5K, and this is where we get into the first of the challenges that we had planned to try and do during this trip. So, Steph, as she mentioned in our last episode, did the 5K, did it at a blisteringly fast pace, which, a lot of the time, it's not necessarily about going a certain pace. But
No.
we had things to do, people. We had plans this day because today was the day that we were going to try and ride every ride with a height restriction, which was 20, I think it was 21 rides, but then Cali River Rapids was under refurb by the time we actually went. It got announced like a couple days before. So I think it ended up being 19, if I'm
Yeah,
remembering
and
correctly.
it was Cali River Rapids was closed because it was cold, and then the other one would have been Big Thunder Mountain, which was under refurb. So it ended up being
Forever.
19. And since the time of us being at the races, I've now realized there was no point in me trying to kill myself to run the 5K because the internet has since told me the likelihood of buses leaving before 6:30 are slim to none. So basically, as long as you're on that first bus by 6:30, you're good to go. So
Yeah,
I
so
I
so
didn't.
unfortunately for Steph, so Steph went and did her race, crushed it, is like, I'm gonna get done super fast because I was like, my goal was to be on the bus by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So park opened at 9. Our first park we were gonna do was Hollywood Studios because that park has a lot of rides with height restrictions. And so I was like, let's get that one done first because it's like a wild card. We got to do a bunch of rides. As you may recall from the last episode, Steph was maybe a little behind in booking our multi-pass lightning lanes. So we
Yes, I
didn't
messed
quite
up.
have the we didn't quite have the roster going into it that I had planned for, but that's fine. So Steph gets on the bus and I'm like, "Oh, are you on the bus?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm on the bus." And this was about 6:30. So I'm like, "Great. I'm going to go down." We were staying at the Coronado Springs Hotel in the tower. So I went down to the Barcelona Lounge, which just has like coffees and muffins and whatever. So I'm like, what do you want? Steph wanted coffee.
Croissant.
Got, I got myself a breakfast sandwich
Yeah.
and a tea. And I was like, oh, maybe I should wait down here for her. Like, I don't know, like how quick she's going to be. Anyways, she's like, I'm still sitting on the bus. We haven't even left. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go back to the room then, will I? Because you're not going to be here for a while. But anyways, so Steph got back super quick, got ready. We were down at 7:15. We caught the bus to Hollywood Studios, and I'm pretty sure it was the first bus. I wasn't positive about this when we first caught it, Steph. Like
No.
there wasn't that many people, but like enough people. I was like, yeah, well, maybe we missed the first bus, whatever. We arrived at 7:26 is what time our bus got us there, so nice and quick. And they hadn't even opened security yet. We were literally there before security even opened. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess that was perfectly good timing. So that was only just over an hour before early entry was supposed to start. So we did great. 7:30 they opened security. So just 1 hour before the, you know, early entry for people staying on property. We were first at the tap styles, not
We
a
sure
shocker.
were.
We were
No.
first through security, actually, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were. I think the only people who may have beat us was that there were some strollers that had to go through, and so
Yeah,
they scooted around us. But other than that, yeah, we
yeah,
were
yeah.
first through.
First tapped in. They actually let us tap in just a little bit before 8 o'clock. And so at 8:03, we were the very first ones in line for Slinky Dog Dash to the point where we were like starting to worry that like maybe it wasn't opening with the park because we were the only people. Like we walked
Yeah,
into a complete like usually when it's early and usually when the rope drop happens, everyone kind of is like rushing together. You're in this sort of crowd and you want to be at the front of the crowd, but like we were the only two people that went to Slinky Dog initially. I think everyone else must have been going to like Rise or
rise. But for
anyways.
sure, because we even got to the line where they're checking to see if people have hotel passes, and we're like, is this where we want to be?
Yeah.
Because there was no one else around. And no, we went right through, and we just hung out with the people, the cast members at the front of the Slinky Dog
Yeah.
Dash line, and watched them park a bunch of strollers
Yeah, and I would
as
because
they're
I
going
was
through.
even like, as we're walking past, I'm like, Slinky Dog is opening with early entry, right? And they're like, oh yeah, yeah, it's gonna open. Because I was like, oh no. So because here was the problem. So initially the thought was if we could get a Slinky Dog Dash multi-pass first thing in the morning, that would be amazing. We couldn't. The earliest we get was like 8 p.m. at night. So I'm like, forget it. So the roster we had was we had Alien Swirling Saucers at 9:40. We had Star Tours, which I always planned to change basically right away, anyways, at
Yeah.
like 10 something. And then we had Rock and Roller Coaster at 11:10. And we had not gotten a single pass for Rise because the thought was, oh, we'll get multi-pass for Slinky Dog and we'll rope drop Rise. So then the dilemma was, do we rope drop Slinky or do we rope drop Rise? Rise doesn't, Rise sometimes has issues. It doesn't always open with the park. Whereas Slinky Dog is a lot more reliable as long as it's not raining. And I said to Steph, I was like, look, Rise is like a 20-minute experience. Slinky Dog is like a 3-minute coaster. So I'm like, we could ride Slinky, bust it over
Scoot
to
over.
Rise, and probably get there before like the park officially opens. So this was the plan. So we get in line, we're doing amazing. 8:03. We were actually on the ride at 8:27. So it actually opened just slightly before early entry even officially began.
And
For
we
all
were
the
the
people who show up when it starts, no, no, you're already late.
no, you're too late. And we were in the first car. First car,
First
Slinky Dog.
car, right
Not
at the
gonna lie,
front.
it was pretty chilly. We were cold.
It was a cold morning. We were
It was
wearing
a
we were wearing our toques and our
oh
gloves and our coats.
yeah,
I don't I don't
nippy
even think I
morning on
took my
Slinky
coat
Dog.
off this day. Like it was a chilly day.
I don't think
Um
I did either.
no, yeah. So
No.
so yeah, so we did that and then we were over to Rise. We were in line for Rise at 8:33, Steph. Like that
Yeah.
was pretty awesome timing. It was a posted 33-minute wait or 30-minute wait or something like that at that point. So we're like, okay, well, like this is the shortest it's basically going to be all day. We waited 23 minutes before the first pre-show. So before the end of early entry, we did Slinky Dog and Rise, which was two huge ones that we had to get off of our challenge list. So like
Yep.
got those two in. I was like, okay, I feel good about that.
We didn't
We
want to
just
jinx it though. We talked about
I
this all day. We're
know.
like, every time we
Don't
felt good,
jinx
we're
it,
like,
don't talk about it.
don't jinx it, don't.
So then another one that was going to be tricky was Tower of Terror because it can also get long waits. This is the problem with Hollywood Studios is that so many rides in that park get really long waits. And so it's like trying to manage because we didn't have the multi-pass, like we weren't going to
Timed
be there all
correctly.
day. Exactly.
No,
Well, it would have been fine if we were going to be there all day. Like,
sure.
when we go with the kids in February, we're doing one park a day. It's like, yeah, I don't care. I'll get it for 6 o'clock at night. That's fine. Like we'll,
We'll
still
do
be
it
here
then.
hanging around.
Yeah.
It's fine. So anyways, but we wanted to be like out of this park before noon, ideally. So we go to Tower of Terror. It was a posted 25-minute wait. We're like, okay, that's manageable. This was at 9:21. So like park is officially open. But again, a lot of the lines are going to be going to like Rise and Slinky Dog because they get longer waits. Anyways, it was 3 minutes, if that, like we pretty much just walked
We
onto it.
yeah, we did. We pretty much walked in and they were like, "Oh, you can go. How many of you? Two? This way." And the magic of it was there was no pre-show. So
Yeah.
we just
Didn't
like
eat into our
walked,
time.
nope, walked through to the next line. And then we were on by where I just lost it.
We were pretty much on like
No
within like,
pre-show.
yeah, a
Yeah,
couple minutes,
we didn't
pretty
didn't
much
even
just
say.
walk
So
on. Yeah. Yeah.
did Tower of Terror? Did it
I
feel
did.
tame
It
now
did.
after
Oh my
doing
God. It
Disneyland?
it did. It felt a lot shorter. There wasn't the moment where I was like, this needs to end. I'm done. I'm done with this ride, which I did feel
California.
when we
I
did the one in
I do
California.
remember that. Yeah.
So anyways, we're doing great. You know, we've like checked off a bunch of them. 9:48, we went and did our first lightning lane that we had Slinky our alien swirling saucers. We
So
had, yeah, go ahead.
we booted like if you know the landscape of the park, we have crossed back and forth a couple times now, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the thing. Like it if you're trying to use the multipass aggressively, you are potentially going to be crisscrossing a lot. But so we went
Yeah.
to Alien Swirling Saucers, scanned into that at like 9:48, walk on. I think it was a 15-minute standby wait, but probably wasn't even that much.
No.
So this is the point now where we can change any of the other lightning lanes that we have. So we had the one for Rock and Roller Coaster, which we wanted to keep because we knew that, line would get longer. But the one for Star Tours, immediately I was like, let's change that one. So um, Tiana's at this point is only doing, you can only ride it if you get in the virtual queue or if you have a lightning lane for it. So I was like, let's lock in that lightning lane just so that we know we have it. Here's one super nice thing I found about the new Genie Plus system that they have. So before, when you'd go in, you'd see like, hey, what time is available? And you had to like pick that time. And then you could go in and modify it and kind of push it back if it was going to be too soon. Now you can go in and let's say it says the next available time is 1 p.m. and you want something later, which we did because we weren't going to Magic Kingdom till the end of the day. You can go in and be like, no, modified time. Oh, 7 p.m. That's the time I want. And then you just book the time you want. It just has to be past whatever like the most currently
Recent
available time is.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it was great. So I went in and did Tiana's and then I thought, you know what? We also need Space Mountain. That one's probably also going to be gone by the time we get to Magic Kingdom. Let's just lock those two in right now. So I locked both of those in for later in the evening when we were going to be at Magic Kingdom. Beautiful. So now we have those two in hand. We still had our rock and roller coaster ones, and that's kind of the three we're sitting with. So after Alien Swirling Saucers, we went to Millennium Falcon. So this was super fun. It
Hmm.
was a posted 25-minute wait. We had always planned to do this single rider because we're like, whatever, we just got to check it off the list. We've ridden it before, whatever. Tell them the super fun thing that happened to us, Steph.
So we're gonna go stand in the single rider line, and we could stay as a party of two in the single rider
Yeah,
line.
yeah. They
So we
said
just
parties
walked
of
through
one
together, or
or
two.
parties of two could go through the single rider line. And I mean, I think, it was about 10 in the morning at this point. So like it wasn't like it was super busy, but it was great because like we didn't even get broken up or like anything like that. So
No.
I don't know how often they do that. I've never experienced that, but that was like sweet.
So we got
Works for
on.
us.
We were gunners.
Yeah, I like a gunner because I can't
I've
really look at the screen.
Well, and it was the first time I think I had ever been a gunner because I've been an engineer and I've been a pilot a whole bunch. So it was the first time I've ever been a
Hmm.
gunner with a bunch of button mashing. And then
Fun.
we ordered some food.
Yeah,
We got some
needed to
breakfast. We
get
got
some food.
the plant-based. We mobile ordered for the plant-based Ronto wrap and a coffee since my brain seems to just only survive on coffee when we go on these trips. We decided that the breakfast plant-based Ronto wrap was not as good in Florida as it was in California. It was missing a whole bunch of
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and I was a bit disappointed because when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, sweet, that's the one we had in California." And then when we got it, we realized this is not the same because the one in California has like impossible meat sausage in it, which
Sausage.
is really good. Like it has a really nice flavor. This one was it was spicy, but not like I don't know. It wasn't super flavorful. It was spicy, but
No,
like
it was
yeah,
just basically a wrap with kimchi and like fake
yeah,
egg, and that was it.
yeah. We kind of wish
So
we had gotten the just
the
the
regular
standard Ronto wrap because we're not
breakfast wrap.
vegan
Yeah.
like but
No,
like
and
we're
we only
not.
picked and the only reason why we picked it was when we were in California, we ate both of them and decided that the vegan one was better than the regular one. That's the only reason why we
Yeah,
did it. So
I know. So it was fine.
there
So then we went over to Star Tours. It was a posted 5-minute wait. That was incorrect. We
you go. No.
waited. 19 minutes
19
for Star
minutes.
Tours. Like a little bit, I was like, I had a lightning lane for this and I let it go. But I mean, still the time savings that we would have by having like, Space Mountain in hand
Yeah.
was worth it. But I was still like, "Ugh, I hate that I'm waiting 19 minutes for Star Tours."
Especially it's the one that she's like, I'm not gonna look now.
Yeah, I
No.
just I just kind of ride with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
It makes me too nauseous otherwise. So, but checked it off the list. We had to get that one
It was
done.
done.
And then, so now we've done everything in Hollywood Studios that has a height restriction, and it's like just before 11, and we have an 11:15 lightning lane for Rock and Roller Coaster. And I was like, well, what should we do? We weren't really hungry yet. We debating it. So I was like, you know what? Let's just walk on down there. It's all the way down at the far end of the park.
Our
I was
end.
like, let's just see. So we walked over there, 11 a.m., scanned in, standby wait was 55 minutes. It lit up blue because we were too early because you're only allowed to be there 5 minutes early. And they went, you're fine, go on in.
And they let us
Great.
in. And I
And
finally got to ride Rock and Roller Coaster. It only
and what
took
did
this was trip number so 4 since I've been.
yeah, I think this is trip number 4.
Trip
Yeah.
number 4. It took me 4 trips to ride it,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. It was pretty
Yeah, you
fun.
did like it. Yeah.
I
It's
did.
it's a fun ride.
Yeah.
It does go upside down, so like, for littler riders, it may
Yeah.
not be their jam. Excuse me, but yeah, I
But
don't
no, it
mind it.
was
It's fun, and they play the Aerosmith music. I think that's the other thing. Like we at least know the songs. I think it's becoming like a bit dated from that
dated thing.
perspective because like a lot of kids probably don't know that music. I was telling Steph while we were waiting our like whatever 5 minutes in line, that I had read on the internet that they're saying they should retheme it Muppets and then have like it's like the Muppets band with like Animal, and I was like that would be amazing.
It would
So
be amazing. And it wouldn't be that hard to retheme. But there's no pre-show or anything. We just like walked on and went. So
so there's supposed to be a
I
pre-show,
know as because
but
as I looked around and was like, but there was nothing.
yeah, because Steph's like, I don't really know the story here. I'm like, well, there's supposed to be a whole pre-show that would have told you the story. But
Yeah.
yeah, we did notice that this trip, though, a lot of the rides we did, they just skipped past the pre-shows. Like, I don't know if that's because they were expecting like large crowds and they're trying to move people through faster, or I don't know, things were just down. But anyways, I mean, we didn't mind because again, it was just saving us time. So we were off that 11:17. We left Hollywood Studios. We had done every ride with a height restriction. We are feeling good about ourselves,
Mhm.
crushing it. So then we had to do the trek over. So the reason we went to the Skyliner, so we had to scan into Epcot. Here was the tricky part. We needed to get into the virtual queue for Guardians because we did not get a single pass for Guardians. We were quite confident we would be able to get in. However, we only had to do a couple rides at Epcot. So it's like
Mhm.
at 11 o'clock in the morning, we're not, even if we get into the virtual queue at 1, it's not going to call us till probably midway through the afternoon. So we decided we will ride the Skyliner to Epcot, scan into Epcot. We scanned in and just immediately left,
I went around.
turned right
Boop,
around,
boop, boop, boop.
and we walked over to the beach club and we caught a bus to Animal Kingdom.
Yep. And we stopped at the boardwalk, which was annoying, just because
Yeah,
we could have
it
walked the
always,
boardwalk and got there, but it's fine.
I always forget that the beach club, so the beach club and the yacht club share buses. Totally makes sense. They're basically connected to each other, uh, you know. But then they often share buses with Boardwalk, which I'm like, I get that it's in the same area, but these are deluxe hotels, and it's like you're making me like stop again. I don't know. I've never really understood that. I feel like they should just splurge for, a few more buses. But anyway, so yeah, so we stopped there. We scanned into Animal Kingdom at 12:15, so it took us an hour to leave Hollywood Studios, go to Epcot, get the transportation.
Shannon.
So, I mean, if we were running out of time, we could have done the Uber, but we're like, let's let's go the scenic route and do
Yeah,
the
and it
Skyliner.
really wasn't that bad.
No, was this the Skyliner ride where we talked to the couple about their dogs? I feel like it was.
it was either this one or it was the one the next day where
Yeah.
yeah, they were a lovely couple. They had
Yeah.
been
They were
going
local.
to having annual passes for like 40 plus years in their
Yeah.
70s. And now they
Yeah.
just come to Disney when it's not busy. And they were kind of upset that all the runners were there. And they were like, it's too busy for us. We're just going to go and have some lunch and go home. And because
You're
that's what
like,
they would do. We're
don't
like,
tell them we're here for the
I
races.
know. I was like, I have a race shirt on. Close my shirt. They can't see.
Yeah. So
Uh, yeah.
so we walked into Animal Kingdom. We were actually able to, so in a previous trip, we had a lot of lounge fails where we couldn't get into like any lounges. So another goal this trip was to try and actually do some of the lounges we missed. One was Nomad Lounge.
Yep.
So as soon as we were like going into Animal Kingdom, I was checking in the app and you could actually join the wait list in the app, which was great. So it said it was about a 55-minute wait. We were pretty hungry already, so we just stopped at Stuli Canteen. We did a mobile order. We'd done it. We just ordered on the bus, like while we were on our way. Went and picked it up. Again, it was really good. We got one of the bowls that we split, and then Steph, you got the mousse dessert, which you said was
It
real
was
good.
so good. It was like a little much. It would have been nice to split a little bit because like by the end
Mm,
I was like that was a lot of sugar, but it was good.
yeah, no, it was
Uh,
far too much dairy for my delicate
I should
constitution over here.
I should say that I really took this trip as the opportunity to consume as much as possible because I knew everything I ate would matter for nothing this whole trip.
Yeah,
With the
you
amount of
needed the
running and
calories.
walking I did, it was like I must eat anything I can. So yes, when I saw a moose I liked, I ate the moose. It was good.
Yeah, so here's where we had a bit of a predicament. So it was we had to decide. So this was about like 12:30, just a little after 12:30. I must not have gotten Space Mountain yet because we had a lightning lane for Everest. I think I must have gotten it a little bit later. So anyway, sorry, we had a lightning lane for Everest. We had a single pass for
Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage. Thank you, Steph.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, Steph, here's the problem. Flight of Passage is like kind of a longish experience, and it's close to one, and we may miss the 1 o'clock drop for the virtual queue for Guardians, which we really need to get into. I said, but we're right beside Flight of Passage. Whereas if we go to Everest, we have to walk all the way over there and then all the way back. And so Steph's like, it's fine. Let's go to Everest. So I'm like, okay, you're the one that's doing all the running this weekend. So I wanted to give her the option. But so it ended up being the right call
Was,
because I
yeah.
think 100% we would have been on Flight of Passage at 1 o'clock. So we walked over to Everest. We had a lightning lane. It was basically a walk on. It was a standby 35-minute wait. 12:45, we scanned in. We wrote it, came out. 1 o'clock, joined the virtual queue for Guardians and got boarding group 98, which was actually slightly better than the boarding group we'd gotten the day before. So we were like, okay, good. We think it looked like it was going
Well,
to be about like a 3, 4 o'clock return time based on the groups from the day before. So then we had actually gotten notified, I think when we were heading over to Everest, that our table was ready at
I
Nomad
think it
Lounge.
I think it was just as we were getting off. Because
It
then
was
it was like
something.
it was right around there. I'm like, well, now we got to walk all the way back really fast.
Well, and because we were like, oh shoot, what should we do? And I was like, well, because it says you have like 10 minutes to get back. But I was like, well, maybe we can just say like we were on a ride. Like, anyways, so
Yeah,
and it didn't take 55 minutes. Like, I mean, it was, I think we got called back within 25, 30 minutes of like when we joined the list. Like it was pretty quick.
yeah,
So
it
we
was
went back
very
over
quick.
there. So 1:15, we went into Nomad Lounge. It was delightful.
Had some lunch.
Had some lunch, had some delicious churros with the dipping sauce. We had the
The Brazil,
cauliflower.
yeah, the
Oh,
Manchurian cauliflower, and then the Brazilian m- cheese buns that were super
yes.
good.
Yeah. And then I had a Ziploc bag in my little pouch. So I actually took some for the road. I was like, we'll get hungry at some point.
Yeah, we're
So
like
I'll bring these.
we don't need to force ourselves to eat this now. We'll just bring these little delicious cheese buns with us, and we did. We ate them later on in the evening, and they were
We
still
did, yeah.
great.
Yeah, they were. And
So
Steph actually, uh, uncharacteristic of Steph, but Steph trying to be good this weekend,
I
actually
was
got
trying
a
to be good.
mocktail instead of a
I did.
cocktail. Yeah,
I looked
I
at the
know.
list and was like, maybe if I drink less alcohol, I'll sleep better. Because I was
And
like, I need to
you
sleep.
actually You actually did. Like,
But we also drugged me. This was
yeah,
also success to me sleeping better.
yeah, we also did give you a Benadryl. Well, we just needed to like turn your brain off, right? So you
I
weren't like
did.
constantly stressing about getting up. So, anyways, we had a delightful time at Nomad Lounge, sat
Yeah, it was
outside,
great.
delightful. Then we did our single pass for Flight of Passage. It was a standby 55 minutes. I mean, we basically just walked into
Walked on.
yeah,
Yeah.
walked on, waited to get into the room. But it took a while. Like, I mean, it was a solid, probably 20, 25 minutes. So it was the right call not to do it right away when we were at Satuli Canteen. So just a few extra steps for Steph that day.
That's just a
No,
few. I only ran a
no big deal.
5K. It was no big
And
deal.
it's just a 5K.
Just a 5K.
And then after Everest, I had booked us a lightning lane for Dinosaur. So then this must be the point, Steph, where then I think I'm
We swapped
Oh no,
stuff
I no,
around.
I know what it was. Sorry. I did book space in the morning when we scanned into Rock and Roller Coaster, that's when I booked Everest. So basically I
Hmm.
kept two lightning lanes that were for the afternoon, and then I had one lightning lane that every time we scanned in, I just booked like the next thing
A
I could. So I
different one.
booked
Yeah.
Everest and then I had booked Dinosaur. So we booked Dinosaur. So again, we had to walk over there, which wasn't too bad, but it was a posted 40-minute wait and it was a literal walk on with like we walked right into the pre-show. That one did have a pre-show.
And I don't understand because now that I've ridden Indiana Jones a bunch of times, now I've ridden Dinosaur. I'm like, why is Indiana Jones so popular and Dinosaur is not? And of course the answer is because Dinosaur is terrifying because the dinosaurs are terrifying. I
It
think Court's
is.
just
It's
big.
very scary. I
It's
literally
not.
wrote it with my eyes closed
It's
because I don't
not.
like it. They come out at you. I don't know what it is, but it is scary. And other people agree with me on this stuff that it is
Uh,
frightening.
I offered to sing the Indiana Jones theme song to see if it would make it better for her. She said no. So
Probably. I mean, it might have. You could have tried.
I could have tried. All right, so we
So
finished on Dinosaur, which meant that we finished at Animal Kingdom. And it was
done.
only like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Not too
Yeah,
bad.
we were doing pretty well. 3:15, we caught the bus to Epcot. At 4 o'clock, our virtual queue was called for Guardians. Once we had scanned into Dinosaur, I had booked a lightning lane for Soarin'. So we decided to do that right away as we got into the park. Scanned in at 4:02, was posted 25 minutes. We waited 10 minutes. Like that one I find because of how they load, even if you're lightning lane, you're always going to wait like at least 10 minutes for that ride just because of they load like three theaters at one time sort of thing. So it was fine. We did that. 4:30, we went and did our virtual queue for Guardians, and we only waited 28 minutes to the first pre-show,
No.
which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. Had a lovely chat with a brother and sister pair from
Oh yeah,
BC. They were super
yeah,
fun. I would have loved
they
to have kept
were.
up with them.
I know we were doing this challenge, so we were like, nah, we can't really like whatever. But otherwise, yeah,
Yeah.
afterwards we both turned. I was like, I really liked them. They were really fun. They had a great energy. And then they were headed to where, like Barbados or something after?
Afterwards, yeah, they're headed to Barbados, and then I actually saw them later on when we were after Mission Space when I was waiting for
Oh,
you.
okay.
So,
Nice. We
yeah.
uh we got the worst song. Got to put that out there for our Guardians
Yeah.
ride.
No, no,
One
no,
way
no,
or
not that
one way or another. Oh wait.
Blondie. Yeah,
No, sorry. One way or another. That was the good one. And actually, we both predicted that was what we were gonna
yeah.
get. Sorry. Everybody wants to rule
Blondie
the
is
world
good.
is the
Everyone
worst
wants
one.
to rule the world.
Yeah,
It's too slow.
it's too
That's the
slow.
problem with it.
They should
But
change that.
we did.
The
We
all
were
the
like
Disney influencers should
say
convince.
hey, by the way. But no, we
Change
were
this.
both like we were like hoping for Blondie, and then they played Blondie, and we were like Blondie,
There we
yeah,
go.
that. So it was great. Uh,
Yeah.
so then after Guardians, we headed over to Mission Space for the
Yeah.
first time ever because
I'd never done it.
she'd never done it. I didn't even know this ride existed because it's never on Court's short list. And it wasn't until Paula went, and I was like, what is this ride you talk of? So yeah, so we this is where we split off, and Court did green, and I did orange.
Yeah.
Uh, it was a walk on. Standby said 15 minutes. I
It
was
was
through
it was
before she was, which was
yeah.
crazy. But
It was
yes,
it was so
Court, your
boring.
opinion? So boring.
It was like well, it was kind of a little like Soarin', a little bit like because you kind of go over the
Uh,
world, but it's on this
yeah,
tiny
but not
screen,
really.
and there's so much build up to getting you in this spaceship, and then you get in, you're like, okay, I don't, it doesn't seem fun. I don't know about the orange.
It's definitely orange is more like orange. You feel the whole idea with orange is that they're trying to put G-force on you because they're
Yeah.
slingshotting you around the moon to get to Mars. So it's like pew pew, and you gotta eventually land on Mars. And so when you're doing that, you feel like this weird pressure on your face and you like go to move your arms, you can't move your arms. So you're getting some of that, but I don't know. It was all right. It was not the most fun ride, and I could definitely see if some people are very sensitive or claustrophobic, they would have problems. I was fine. And I was just kind of like, meh. So yeah. So that was
Well, it was also concerning though, Steph, because when I went in to the green one, there are literal barf bags
oh yeah.
in it. And I was like, well, this isn't very comforting that I'm
No,
gonna
and
be
there are barf
okay
bags
here.
in the orange one, but I was fine.
Anyways, so
So
I
that was
still
Mission
I think it's a pass. Anyways, we had a lightning lane for it, but whatever. So then we were done. We were done with Epcot. Woo! All
Got
the
done. Tick,
yeah. Epcot was easy in the sense that like the rides that have the longer waits didn't have height restrictions like Frozen and Ratatouille, so
yeah.
worked out for us. And Test Track is still down, so we couldn't ride that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then we took the monorail to Magic Kingdom. We we went to the Tomorrowland Speedway. I had booked at this point. I had booked a lightning lane for the Barnstormer, so we just did the Speedway. We just did it standby. It was posted 10 minutes. We waited 10 minutes, but I was like, Steph, do we want separate cars? Are we driving in the same car? We chose same car. I was
We're
like,
like,
I don't.
we're getting this over and done with because this is ridiculous. So
But you but
it's one
you
of
had
those
never
rides
had you
I'd
done
never
it
done it.
before? Yeah.
No, because it was classified as one of the rides that you're like, no, this is not worth our time. So we just never do it. So I'm like, okay, well, I hadn't done this. I
Well,
have
I
a
wasn't
feeling I
sure if your kids would have made you do it when you were in California. No.
no,
Okay.
I restricted them to good rides when we were in
I know.
California.
Well, good for you.
So
My kids always want to ride it. They love it. They think it's the best.
but they don't know what they don't know exists. So
That's
they
true.
just didn't know it's a thing. They'll know after this trip because your kids will make them
Oh
know it. No,
yes. Yeah.
it's
They'll
a
be like,
thing.
Elliot, you get to drive your own car. And then he'll always want to do it. Anyway, so did that one. That was fine. Then we got to start using our lightning lanes that I had booked before. So 640, we did Space Mountain, which was great because it's right there beside Tomorrowland Speedway. So we didn't have to walk a whole bunch. It was a posted 55. We waited 10. Beautiful. And then we did the
Yep.
little like bypass in behind Tron to get to Barnstormer, where we had a lightning lane. We waited 6 minutes. I think it was a posted 10. It was a pretty short line either way.
Yeah, we were behind the
Short
line
ride.
with the tiniest child that gave me hope that maybe Sawyer would be able to ride it. So we'll see. We'll see
Yes.
what happens if he can do it.
Yeah.
Then we mobile ordered dinner from Pisco Bill
Pesco's Bills. Yeah. We did
and
the
had
um we did the
the
vegan
flatbread.
masa flatbread, which Steph, they don't have it on the
Sorry.
menu anymore.
Oh, really?
They literally just took it off and they've replaced it with some, I don't know, vegan bowl. Like, so they have a vegan option again. I just wanted to try it because it had like vegan, like sour cream and cheese and
And
stuff. So
cheese
for
and
me,
stuff.
can't, you
Yeah,
know,
it was good.
but yeah, it was filling too. Like, it was a good size. Like, I'm kind of
Hmm.
disappointed they took it off because like it was actually a pretty decent option, I thought. So, anyways, well, maybe we'll have to try the new bowl when we go back. But 7:35, we did a lightning lane for Tiana's. It was a full walk on. Now it
Yeah,
was cold by this point.
it
Like it
was
is,
very cold.
yeah, like I'm not surprised. It was to the point where I'm like, I kind of wish they would just open it up to people because like you nobody is even coming to this. But anyways, it was a little walk on. We asked for the back row, which was my suggestion based on my
Yep.
ride in California, and we did not get wet. It
No,
was
it was great.
great. Yep.
So good because I didn't
So
really
good.
want to get wet at this point. I have to say it was lovely riding Tiana's at night, looking at the castle, coming down,
It
seeing the
was so
lights.
pretty. Well, and all the stuff outside, they have like little
Hmm.
like purple and pink lights on it. And we later in the trip rode it during the day, and I preferred it at night. I thought it was like a really cool atmosphere to
Yeah,
ride it at
I thought
night.
it was
So
very cool.
yeah. And then at 8 o'clock, we had a single pass for Seven Dwarfs. It was a standby 40-minute wait. We literally walked on, and we did it during the fireworks.
Which is awesome. I've
So
told
cool.
several people if you have the chance to do it during the fireworks, well worth it. Like I love Happily Ever After, and I've been spoiled because I've seen it many, many, many times. So I didn't mind seeing it under on a ride under the fireworks. It was very cool.
Yeah. And because they set the fireworks off like actually like behind the whole park, they
Hmm.
are kind of like almost like all around you because you got the castle with some of the like sparkler fireworks and then you got the big boom fireworks on the other side. So it's cool experience. And then we had one ride left to do, which was Tron. We knew we had to do this standby because we couldn't get a single pass because you can only get two single pass in the day. It was posted 55-minute wait. We'd planned it for during fireworks to hopefully get lower crowds, and we waited 35 minutes, which, wasn't terrible.
Nope.
And then we were done.
And it was only like 9 o'clock,
Yeah,
barely 9 o'clock, because then
yeah,
we picked up pastries at Starbucks on Main Street on the way out, and we were on the bus by 20 after 9, and I think I was in bed by 10.
yeah. Beautiful.
So
It was an
it was
excellent
great.
day and challenge successful. We
Yay!
actually completed one of our challenges, which we're not known to do
Oh,
apparently.
spoiler, may not have happened again, but it was great. It was a very fun full day.
It was a fun full day. So I think that'll about wrap it up for this episode. Congrats to us on doing the ride every ride with a height restriction. Funny, just a little interlude here. When I told Cooper, my son, we were doing this, he said, "Can Steph ride all of them?" And he was actually not even trying to make a joke.
No.
Steph
But
was
the
very,
ridiculous part about it is that one of the rides, oh, Alien and Swirling Saucer, the
yeah,
height restriction's 32 inches.
yeah. She's like,
Like,
"Yeah, I can ride them all." I'm like,
come on.
she is the size of an adult, buddy. Anyways, so we did it. Congrats to us.
Yay!
And I think we'll end it right there. And until next time, Steph.
Tweel out.